Welcome to the Meadowlands. Bob Hayden joined by Mr. Alan Gutterman, who is one of the originators of the Meadowlands racetrack, if you want to say that word, back in 1976. Alan Gutterman, nice to have you. What brings you to town these days? What's going on?
Well, I'm going to the Belmont Stakes and came in earlier in the week, took care of a few things, and wanted to come tonight to see the new Meadowlands because I haven't been here yet since this building was built. This is one hell of a place. It's lively, full of fun. I worked at the other building for 15 years, and this place is a delight. It's great.
So you saw the opening of the old Meadowlands, the former Meadowlands, and the new Meadowlands. So
I
you've
am
seen them
one
both.
lucky guy, Bob. You know, the Meadowlands in 1976 was a big question mark. Everybody in the New York metropolitan area was used to harness racing on a half-mile track, and we were going to do mile racing, and a whole bunch of new drivers and trainers, many from Canada that nobody knew. But come opening day, you couldn't get into this place, opening night. And in fact, the gates were broken down. So many people wanted to come. And it turned out to be one of the great openings in the history of horse racing, thoroughbred or harness. And it went on to be the flagship for harness racing in America.
A lot of big names were involved with the opening, too. Sonny Werblin was right there. Joe DeFrank was on board immediately. Sam Anzalone. I'm mentioning some huge names. Yourself, Charlie Singer was here. Wow, talk about a high quality. The emphasis on quality was undeniable.
Yeah, it really was. And then you came along.
And Alan Gutterman hired me back in 1984. And one other thing too, we had thoroughbred racing. Now do you own a thoroughbred now?
Yeah, I'm partners in a filly, in fact, that raced today at Belmont, and she finished second, and so that was fun. But you're right. We had harness racing for one full year from '76 to the fall of '77, and then thoroughbred racing started, and that was a big hit. And Bob, you and I became kind of thoroughbred fans through that.
Oh, sure. And Seattle Slew raced here at the Meadowlands after he won the Triple Crown. That was a huge deal, and he got beat, right?
Yeah, very dramatic. This was a very aggressive effort to make world-class thoroughbred racing at home in New Jersey, and we would fly jockeys over from Aqueduct and Belmont, Cordero and Velasquez and those guys to come right here. And that was the influence a lot of Sonny Werblin and Jack Crumpy and the thoroughbred people, and Bob Quigley, who was a great general manager. So we had world-class harness racing, very high-class thoroughbred racing. This was a great place to be.
Well, Jeff Corral and Jason Settlemore certainly know about thoroughbred racing too. They had Braulio Baeza back. We had Victor Espinoza back here signing photos and everything else after the California Chrome great year. So there's an undeniable link, any way you want to cut it, between the two sports.
You know, my friend Tom Aronson says that the best thoroughbred handicappers are the ones who started in harness racing.
And that's very much could be true too. And the crossover between both breeds and the harmony, I love it. We had about 100 nights a year at thoroughbred for quite a while, and about 190, 200 nights of harness racing.
It was a great time, wasn't it?
It really was. What happened to you? You were here until 1990. Give us the itinerary after that.
Well, I got a great invitation from the New York Racing Association to join them, and I did in 1990. I stayed till about 95, and then there were some changes in management there, and I spent a year at Arlington. I spent a year consulting for Sam Houston in Texas, and came back, did some work for New York City OTB, the late New York City OTB, and then moved out to California and was the VP of marketing at Hollywood Park for 7 years, and then Santa Anita for 7 years. So,
and we just saw up in
I can't hold a job.
At your dinner table, we saw Richie Silverman walk by, some other familiar faces. Bob Bongiorno was training when you were here in the 80s. It was, there's a lot of familiarity and family continuity in harness racing.
Absolutely. And I think people in harness racing love the sport so much and so dedicated to it. And sometimes you feel like you're in the shadow of thoroughbred racing, but on its own, it stands out as a wonderful, wonderful form of entertainment and a great game.
I'm going to give you a stat. I'm going to try to hog the headline here a little bit on Alan before we get ready for the post parade. Yeah. In 1975, the year before the Meadowlands Open, more people went to harness racing than saw a Major League Baseball game. 31 million to 29 million. Now that's pretty significant.
Wow. And I could tell you that back in the days when I was a young man, The New York papers like the New York Post and the New York Daily News, they covered harness racing seriously. They had a man on the beat. The day after races at Yonkers and Roosevelt, the finished picture of the stakes race was there, so it was great.
I hate to interrupt, Alan Gutterman. Good stuff. Thanks so much for stopping by. They're on the track now for the 4th. Thanks for stopping by, Alan.
My
Good to have you
pleasure,
here.
Bob.
Great.
Thank you.